Broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. The one place on the internet where we do it live with this effing thing. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to Show Everybody. This is season 4, episode 30, episode number 165. For anybody who hasn't guessed it yet, we just introduced Shandy to the Bill O'Reilly We'll Do It Live clip, and it's glorious. Hello.
Yep.
My name is Colleen.
It doesn't
Your
get old.
name is Amanda, and your name is Shandy.
Wait, did we not just do that?
Yeah, we did that part already. Yep, we totally did it. You missed it. Thanks. Good to know you listen when I talk.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Best payoff ever. I was so eager to make the joke. Anyway, how's it going, ladies?
Dandy.
Good. Good.
Awesome. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, listeners. Shandy, I heard you got a new tattoo this week.
I was going to say, I'm good, but my arm's a little bit sore.
Yeah, how's it healing? Hitting it with that A&D cream.
Yeah, I need to, I meant to actually wash it again before we start recording. I'll do it after. And put some more lotion on, but because it's definitely started like peeling in the past couple of hours. But yeah, so it's just healing. But it's great!
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's so pretty.
I love it.
And I'm happy. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so nice. Do you want to tell us a story behind that, or?
Yeah, so Tasia and I got friend tattoos. No big deal. What?
Oh my god, I love it!
She's actually getting friend tattoos with hopefully all of her bridesmaids. She already had a couple with some of her bridesmaids and then was like, oh, we could just continue this. And she and I had talked about getting a tattoo together for months. And then we finally did it. So yeah, things got derailed actually last year when I took swimming lessons. We were going to do it back then. And then it was like, oh wait, I have to be in a pool for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, it finally happened, but I'm very excited. It's on my forearm. So it's my first still coverable with long sleeves, but first more visible tattoo. And it's just fucking beautiful. It's when we were trying to decide what to get, I liked the idea of the California poppy, which is the California state flower. It's just a really pretty flower, and flowers are just kind of awesome. And then Tasia was like, oh, and what's the Montana state flower? Which is the bitterroot if you're playing along at home. And so we kind of started looking at those two together, and actually they go really well together, and that the colors go really well together, and it's just real pretty. Very happy.
Huh.
Oh my God. There is part of the story that I almost wrote a note in our outline, but I didn't want to give anything away. I had a feeling I might forget to tell this, and thank God I just remembered. So this is kind of very on brand for the broadcast. We go to get the tattoo, and we walk down to the shop together. We had an appointment Saturday early afternoon, arrive at the shop. It's in, right in town. There's a little park across the street, a little city center, civic center, community center, whatever. So we get there, we're checking in and chatting with the people there. And they're like, you guys just missed it. I'm like, what? They're like, not 30 minutes ago, a guy over in the park across the street was jacking off and then proceeded to shit in his hand. Caught it in his hand. Caught the poop in his hand. He pooped in his hand.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
And then I can't remember exactly what they said at this point. I think he smeared it on the ground, but then did he go back to finishing himself off? Or those details I'm a little bit fuzzy on. But they got waste. Video. And I saw the video, and thankfully, in the video, you're far enough away that you can't actually see any of the details of the bodily functions. But you can definitely see a bare ass, and then
something falling from it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, we missed the poop jacker offer, which of course the first question that comes to my mind is oh, is this guy homeless, society does not take care of the homeless and like maybe has some mental illness going on. That's just terrible. So there's I don't know like what his situation is, but it's still a pretty crazy story. And so that got them talking about the park because we were like, oh my God, couldn't believe it. And they're like, yeah, we see stuff in that park all the time. Like people having sex, just like all sorts of things going on in that little community park right across the street.
So very family friendly park.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like raised. So like if you're walking on the sidewalk on the side of the park, you can't actually see into the park because it's like a little bit higher. But if you're across the street, you can. So I don't know if that maybe contributes to it because like the people in the park probably realize that the people right on the sidewalk can't see. But like
So they
there's
feel like they
shops
have
on the
no
other
privacy.
side.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's crazy.
oh my God. That is both crazy and amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a way to start your
sad if they
shared
have mental
friend
illness.
tattoo experience.
I feel like it was kind of perfect. We went on Friday to this shop and like got an appointment for the next day. And the person who was going to do our tattoo, we were like looking through his work because we didn't like seek this person out like specifically. Side note, he did really great work. I love it. And he was super nice. But so we're like, after we made the appointments and everything, we're like looking through his Instagram just to kind of like make sure like, okay, we like cool with the person that we just made an appointment with to do our tattoos. And among other things, he had this tattoo of, it's like a bowl of like noodles with chopsticks, except for the noodles are dicks.
Yeah.
It was a bowl of dicks. So that was like the first time.
Chopsticks too. So a bowl of dicks with the. I love
Chopsticks were in the bowl.
In
I
the
can
dicks.
send this
Were
in
the
the dicks.
chopsticks like somebody holding it like a veg? And there's legs? Because that'd be awesome.
Not quite. The chopsticks are just kind of there, but
I'm
you can't really
throwing that
see
out.
the end of.
I'm throwing that out into the universe.
Oh yeah. So that was sign number one. Especially, I mean, if you're gonna get a friend tattoo with Tasia, you want to see a bowl of dicks.
Obviously.
It's a good sign. Yeah.
I will say that the bowl of dicks reminds me of episode 3, I think it is, of Sex Education, which I have now watched. We're through episode
The whole
4.
thing?
No, so we've watched, I think it's episode 4 or 5.
Okay.
That's
But-
good progress.
Yeah, we started I think on Sunday or Monday. No, we were in New York. So Monday and it's Tuesday. So yeah, we've done good. I think we've seen through episode 4 as we're recording this. But when I talk about like the bowl full of dicks, the chick that draws the penis hands on the alien. Good
All
times.
right.
Good times.
God,
We really
yeah.
like it
Amazing.
though. We really like it. It's a great show. And I cannot wait to have through season 2 finished by the next time we record because we are on pace for that. Very excited.
Nice.
Yay.
Nice. Especially towards the end, like you won't be able to stop.
Really? Okay. Yeah, we love all the characters. What I like most about the show is it really manages to have a great balance between serious issues or more serious topics and like that slapstick comedy. Like,
Yes.
for instance, an episode with a house party where one of the there's a serious thing going on, but one of the characters is also like, falling down the stairs to like get into the thing, and it's just I don't know. There was a lot of really funny things, and we laughed a lot, and I believe that was episode 3, maybe it was 2. I don't know, but whatever. It's a really good show so far. We're in the middle of season 1, and I cannot wait to finish it because we're really enjoying it. Also, saying I cannot wait to finish it sounds like something that somebody on the show would say. So that's what she said. Yeah. Good times.
So good. You're on your way to a very fun journey. I'm so excited.
It's already fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you just love the characters even more, and like the
Yes.
stories get richer, and like it just gets better.
We love the best friend. He's so funny.
Oh, he's great.
He's so good.
He's really, really, really great.
Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely triple down on the recommendation for Sex Education on Netflix, I think it is. Yeah, totally great. But yeah. Good times.
Nice.
Cool.
I didn't mean to hijack your...
the poop jacker offer?
Well, a poop jacker offer is very
Multifaceted.
significant.
I mean, to be fair, like, I don't know about him, but I was done.
Yeah.
Good times. So we had originally said that this was going to be a patron show, but we're going to save that for next week. It'll be like a patron show / Shandy birthday show. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, because your birthday is Monday, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So woohoo! So we'll be live for the patrons on Tuesday the 25th. And if you want to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/JayandJack and join us at the Hangout level. And we will be very happy to hang out with you too. Good times. I also want to take note that we are at 4 weeks from episode 169. And episode 69 was kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point that out. I don't know if 169 is like an extra dick in the equation or not, but like...
Yes.
Or figure.
Obviously.
Let's go with that.
Okay. So we should figure it out. But what about you, Amanda? Have you had a good, week since we last talked?
What have I done? It's been kind of quiet. I've been really, really busy at work. So I've been trying to lay low on the weekends to like balance it out. Yeah, but I think next week is going to be pretty exciting. Tomorrow, so Wednesday of the past of time of everyone hearing this, I'm going to see Beetlejuice on Broadway with JP and Roe.
Oh,
so I'm pretty excited about that. And this weekend, I'm going to Poughkeepsie to visit some college friends. We're doing Christmas. Yeah.
Better late than never.
Exactly. Better late than never.
Christmas times, you mean?
Christmas time. I won't tell you when I actually bought the Christmas gifts. Definitely wasn't in 2020. I get like gift buying paralysis. I put it off as long as possible because I get very nervous about buying people presents because I'm really afraid they're not going to like it.
It's a big,
yeah,
I know. I know.
It's hard. Like, yeah, there's so much tied up in gift giving. It's rough.
Yeah, so I put it off as long as possible, and then I feel bad about doing that, but I don't know. But yeah, no, I think not that much is happening here. I'm making my way through Sabrina. I'm only 4 episodes in.
Oh, you should finish. There's a lot of infuriating things that happen in that season, but
it's like I don't feel like I watch an episode and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like I need to like keep watching.
Well, it's overall general, like, she makes the wrong decisions, like, literally 100% of the time every episode, and that is frustrating. But at the same time, I still like the character, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But she always has the best of intentions.
She does. It's like one of those shows that, like, I want to like it more than I think I actually do. Right? Like I like the really concept of it. I like the subtle commentary they try and make about like, you know, the patriarchy and teenage sexuality and like all that stuff. But I think when it actually gets down to the brass tacks of the show itself, I'm a little like, meh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't love it as wholeheartedly as I love Sex Education.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I think they're very, very different, but they're also very similar at the same time.
It's high school coming of age stories.
High school coming of age. Just one of them is, you know, living in those freaking Riverdale fever dreams, and the other one is probably not.
I thought we were going to have a Riverdale crossover episode. That was kind of a disappointment.
I did too. I thought so.
Not that I watch Riverdale or know anything about those characters. I just know it's a show and that it's a thing that young people are into.
Yes.
I'm like, oh,
also
crossover?
Yeah. But you know, I was more enthusiastic still about Sabrina than Jay was by the end. But I did. By the end, I still really enjoyed it, and I'm still really looking forward to it. But sometimes I do wonder if perhaps in my mid-30s, what am I, 36 now? Perhaps in my mid to late 30s, I am starting to finally outgrow shows like Sabrina. And I hope that that's not true because
Yeah, I love all young adult stuff, like young adult fiction, young
So
adult
do
TV
I.
shows. I'm always down for a coming of age story, and I still really love Sabrina. And again, like the last episode was like awesome.
Yeah, the last episode was really good. I'll give you that. It was
Well,
really
that's good
And
to
it's
know that
more-
it's going to
Oh,
continue
I
to
loved
get.
it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I loved it so much, and I love all the characters, and it is about a 16-year-old and navigating that, and I think that's still very interesting. But it's about more than that too, like all the other characters and things that I can't say because it would be spoilery, but we'll get to it later. But I also just love the world, and
I love the world. That's it. I love the world. I love the characters. I love Theo and Rosalind, and what's the other dude's name? Harvey. And I like them all. I'm really glad.
I love that. I love the aunts, and I love Ambrose, and like I love
Ambrose and what's her name?
Prudence.
And Prudence.
Yeah, but even just like the aesthetic, like I love everything about the world.
That's very
Well, it does make me want to look more into the occult. I'm like, oh, are these all real like things?
Actually,
that,
so
like,
many
go
of them
into, like
are.
witchcraft and like
Dude.
how much of this is like of someone's imagination and how much of this
No,
is based in like real folklore.
So
and stuff.
yeah, so much of it is like I spent the greater part of 2019 reading like a bunch of occult stuff, and
Yeah,
it's really
right.
it's extra fun then to watch it because it's like, yeah, there's so many things where it's like, oh yes and yes and yes, and that's a thing and that's a thing, and they've added their own twist to it. I actually listened to a podcast episode where one of the writers was from the first season. Hopefully he's still writing on it. I don't know, but it was a couple years old. He was interviewed, and one of the things that he said, first of all, that I loved was that everyone writing for the show, and again, I don't know if this has changed, but this is the first season anyway, was either a woman or if they were a man, they were queer. So it was
Ooh.
only
think
women
I
and
heard
queer
that
men
too,
like writing on that show, which no, I think that's great. But then the other thing that he said was, because he's a practicing witch, and he had said that the director like isn't necessarily going for quote unquote accuracy because they're not which I can appreciate. Like they're not just trying to follow like all actual things of like what would happen in an actual ritual, etc. Like what are the different steps, or like even with like some of the mythology and stuff, they're taking it a lot more liberally, which I think actually frees them up then to not like as for making mistakes about how certain things are done. But they definitely take a lot of elements from different myths and like different parts of the occult and different practices and stuff. And I mean, that really comes to a head again in that last episode of this latest season, which I won't say anymore until you've watched it. But I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many episodes are there in this season?
8.
It's like the way Netflix is now. It's like you just have no idea
I think
how many
it's 8.
episodes because they just roll one into the other. Like you don't know.
I think it's 8.
You think there's 8? Okay, so
I
I'm
think
just
it's
past
8.
halfway then. I think I just
Yeah.
finished
If
the
it's not
4th
8,
or
it's
5th
9.
episode.
If it's not 8, it's 9. But like to Shandy's point, yeah, I totally agree. And then something you were just mentioning, Shandy, kind of pinged in me. Oh, shit.
It'll come to.
What were we talking about? I was gonna say something.
We'll
was
just
just
like
something
take
else.
on.
I'm absolutely sure it'll come back to me. I'm absolutely sure that I will interrupt you to somebody when they're talking, or myself, to bring it back up. But yeah, there was something else. Oh my god, this is bothering me. But anyway, while I'm trying to remember what it was, we were talking recently about doing new merchandise and new design or something. And I had designed, so, we talked about last week that we're not doing water bottles anymore in my house, except in case of emergency. And we have the water thing now. And I ordered myself something that I made from Zazzle. It is a Princess Leia head, and it says the future of the galaxy is female, and it's purple, and that's my favorite, and I love it. And it got me thinking, is there something, is there a feminist quote that we can play off of for the broadcast for our merchandise, whether it is like the sticker that Jamie Joe sent us that is Like, I love it. A woman's places in the resistance, or the future of the galaxy is female. Like, is there anything that we can play off of that for broadcast? Because I do feel like we need to start like thinking, and it's like crunch time because there needs to be time to like design it and make it. Which I realize we're only in February, but May is coming fast, guys. May is coming really fast. So
It's true.
I didn't know if like we could like a Broad's places in the resistance, and then maybe Jacob could like make something for us for that or something. But I did want to see if, before we moved on, if anybody had anything, because I'm really into this. That's what she said.
Well, what was the thing from last week that got us talking about it? I feel like someone wrote in something really cool. Maybe I should go back and listen to the episode. I don't know.
I might have written it down.
Someone said something, and that's what got us on the topic. So it was like, oh, yeah, that. Like, that would be great on merch. And I can't remember what that was.
It wasn't, I don't know, because I didn't write it down. I just talked about how I had a Tumblr and I wanted to make new merch. But yeah, we need like new ideas for design, for his catchphrase, for something. I really like a Broad's places in the resistance, but I know that I would say that is copyrighted, but you know something? I made this design on Zazzle after finding a similar one at Comic-Con, like down to the same font, but it's slightly different. And it's not copyrighted. So I feel like text is fine if we had like a Broad's places in the resistance or Broadsistance, #Broadsistance or something. So anyway, I just want to put you guys all out there listening on that, on that note, on that path. I'm still trying to remember what it was that I had to say before, because it's in my head. It's literally, it's there. Like, the path is there. I just got to keep going down. I don't know. Somebody talk about something that they did. Give me like 60 seconds. I'm going to get there. Or maybe we should just stop and take a pee break. And while you guys are peeing, I'll just go back and listen. And
let's pee break, and I can see if Fiona's outside.
Okay, let's pee break.
Fiona break.
A Fiona break.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Fiona break. Go.
Okay.
All right, we are back from our commercial break. Shandy, did you find Fiona?
Yes, she came back inside, all cute and chipper, and just like, yeah.
She was doing her part for the Broad Resistance, so yes.
Yes, she was. She was out on an adventure. I don't know where she goes or what she does when she does these adventures. Usually Fiona goes out for like 5 minutes and comes back, but every now and then she'll like stay out for a little bit longer. And I'm like, what did you do?
She's
little tiny
up,
little
dude.
girl.
She's hooking up.
Yeah. I mean, Gabby's the one that usually like goes on a tear, and she's, she's got the brute strength to back it up.
Mm.
Whereas Fiona's more just like this little.
Maybe she just found a really cute little like hole somewhere that she like just likes to take a nap in, and she lost track of time.
100% possible. Yes.
Very true.
Although back in her Montana days, she used to like go hunting, bring us back mice, sometimes dead, sometimes alive.
Cool.
Yeah, that was real fun. Good times.
Good times. While you were gone, I also remembered what my point was before. So we were talking about like sex education and Sabrina, and how, in my mind at least, how wonderful it was that they were intersectional. And I was going to just bring up briefly how much that actually does matter, because I realized this a lot after we saw Rent, and a lot of, because I was raised in a very conservative Catholic household, and a lot of who I am now, like the more core basic values, comes from being exposed to certain media like Rent that, has multidimensional characters that are, it's very varied in terms of nationality and life experience. And that actually really that really was a basis for me when I got older and started kind of more breaking out of the things that I was taught growing up. Whereas, because you know how, this is a very terrible example, but it's the only one I've got at the moment, like the only one I can pull from. You know how certain conservatives will be like, well, you know, I was against gay rights until I knew a gay person. It was almost like the characters that the only like really true like multicultural characters. I'm sure there were more, but like Rent was my first experience in which I understood more of what was going on in the show, or I guess kind of was like more invested. I don't know what the right word is. But I was a teenager and I realized that when we were watching it. And now, you know, I was at 35 at the time, a 35-year-old, a mid-30s person, where I think a lot more of my empathy or my understanding as a adult, a grown-up person, came from somewhat having been exposed to, you know, something like Rent, where it was more multicultural. And I know that doesn't really solve society's problems as a whole, but I do think it helps anybody who is growing up being taught one thing to have that experience where they otherwise would not right off the bat have it. It kind of is kind of I don't know what the right word is, but like I think it's really great to introduce your children to shows like Sabrina or shows like Sex Education or shows, you know, just that are you know, very cultured, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. And I definitely think that like Sabrina and Sex Education are both a step in the right direction. I think it's important, obviously, like for like non-white, non-straight folks to be able to see themselves on the big screen. And then just like you said, it can also be a tool to like make other people more conservative. Oh my God. Make more conservative people comfortable with people who don't look like themselves. But what drives me nuts about things like, even though like, yes, we have Sabrina and yes, we have Sex Education, and those are two steps, like it's such the right direction. It's like, the main protagonists are still straight white people. Like,
true.
That's the one thing is like the next step will be, okay, like take that momentum, but like, give us like a non-white main person. And granted, both in Sabrina and in Sex Education, there are like, you know, I guess the love interest or the secondary character a lot of times aren't necessarily white, but like, let's maybe reverse that sometimes.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know, it's the age-old argument for representation, you know, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And, you know, and I think Shandy, you you touched upon, you know, this idea of like, you see representation in the supporting characters or, you know, their sexuality or their whatever is like a defining characteristic of the character. And that's how we kind of introduce, like they're used more as a trope than as just part of the story. And it's kind of getting to a point where, and I think Sex Education does this very well, where these characters exist and they have their identities, but that isn't everything the character brings to the table. And the character storyline isn't directly spiraling around their sexuality all the time. It's like they're a fully realized and fully dimensional character in the same way that we look at our sort of cisgendered white main characters that we never take for granted that they're, you know, white or cisgendered. And it's like sort of getting everybody to that same place. And I think representation is how you do it. You just keep putting those characters into your story. And then eventually you don't have to spell it out so clearly that people can just kind of accept these people as characters and just enjoy it as the bigger part of the fabric of the program itself.
Absolutely. And I completely agree. I'm just speaking about 20 years ago, almost 25 years ago. That was, for me, one of the more diverse forms of media that I was experienced to. And just having even that little thing really helped shape me. So I was just trying to relate it to having more diverse things, you know, as we move forward will help, hopefully also help shape future generations. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying
absolutely.
Like,
for sure.
In
for
any
sure.
kind
And
of
I think that's great. You know,
didn't, but
Yeah, or even like what last year was the 50th anniversary of Mr. Rogers, and it sort of, people would talk about how like Mr. Rogers had Officer Clemens on the show, and for a lot of young kids and a large part of the country, that was the first Black person they'd ever seen. And it was like a big deal that like Mr. Rogers invited Officer Clemens to like come wade his feet in the kiddie pool with him on the hot day and like cool it off together. And it's like that kind of blew people's mind. And it's like,
and you're right. Like, cause at the end of the day, Sabrina, Sex Education, whatever else, like they are centered around cis white people. So you're right. There is still some way to go.
No, but to be perfectly honest too, like it's just more interesting too. Like, and I think that people will, or have maybe realized that it just makes for more interesting stories. And
absolutely, it totally does.
Like that's like part of the reason that I stopped reading books by men. Like the straight white male narrative. Like I feel like we've gone. I mean, I'm sure there are new facets to explore, but like we've been there. We've done that. Like let's see some other stories.
Right. And now where there's just so much content and there's so much to take in that like we can and should be more careful and thoughtful about the things we choose to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really because it's like what we're saying is not an uncommon notion. Like there are a lot of people that are out there pounding the pavement and inclusion and trying to get more diverse voices heard. But I think as consumers, it is on us to make sure that we are putting in the work and finding those things and watching them, reading them, taking them in, because that's what gets, Hollywood and the machine or whatever, the man, quote unquote, to continue to engage is by proof of product. And like people are actually watching these things and a large group of people are watching these things. And it sort of sucks to have to think about it so like politically, but like it's 2020, everything's political.
Yeah.
To watch things, guys. Watch the stuff.
But again, the more you make these things, the more the younger generations grow up with them and absorb them, the less political it becomes and the more,
Well, the more and more things get made.
Right. I don't know. I guess I kind of lost my point somewhere and I probably sound awful at the point. Which I generally end up doing, but that's just, I was just commenting on how you're shaped by the things that you watch also as a youth and as a grown up.
100%.
And it's nice that things do tend to be at least a little bit better nowadays than they used to be, even though we do have a long way to go. We might have more female protagonists, but we don't have as many minority protagonists. But I do hope that we keep going.
Yep.
But it's, things like Little Women. It's great that like so many women went out to see it, but like bring a male too, because Hollywood thinks that a female driven movie, men won't want to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to go see it with your girlfriends, but bring the dudes along too.
Yeah. Well, good talk, guys. I'm all sorts of insecure now because I'm pretty sure I made an idiot of myself, but here we are.
What?
Never.
For the record, like I was just agreeing with you and then also adding.
Oh, I know.
Also, I've never seen Rent, so I don't know why or how it's diverse. I don't even know what it's about. Like, did they rent an apartment? I don't know. They're singing.
Is a really good...
Yeah, it's the opposite. They're squatting.
They're squatting.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Rent is a very good look at a very specific period in time, but also has broader social implications or political implications that actually still do exist 25 years later. So Rent is actually, I feel like, both a period piece and a statement piece still. I don't know. I love Rent.
Yeah.
I do. There's some characters now that are so 90s. And as a grown-up person, I sometimes agree with Benny, the antagonist. Or I'm like, Benny actually kind of had a point, but still.
Well, it's interesting now to, and I don't know if Kyle, if you've heard any of this, where like there's kind of a debate within the theater community that like if you look at Rent from today's lens, it doesn't go far enough. It's not diverse enough. It's not, there's still a lot of trappings. But at the same point, it's like if you look at it from the time in which it came out in the early 90s, it was extremely groundbreaking. There wasn't anything else really, at least on Broadway, that was showing those types of characters and saying those kind of things.
Right.
I think that's something we often forget when we have that discussion, that like, yes, if it doesn't fit into your idea of what is progressive now, doesn't mean it wasn't progressive in its time.
Right. Which is the definition of progressive, is moving itself forward in time.
Yeah.
So like one might argue, because it was around the same time as My So-Called Life, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think
Which
so.
I still need to finish watching. I know, Mandy, I have your DVDs. I swear I'm going to finish them. I swear I am.
Good.
But like, you're right. Like, you have to look at everything from a time period. I think that Rent was something that people like us, millennials, elder millennials, and younger Gen Xers, had to experience when we had our very conservative baby boomer parents that helped some of us like kind of break out of that state of mind. And I do hope that I can be more active, I guess, involved in the things that do that for my children. I don't know. It's just trying to be a better parent for the future as well. And somehow we spent 25 minutes talking about Rent and, I don't know, the future generation being comfortable with things, and the fact that we need a good TV show with a person of color as the actual lead. And I'm sure the people out there who are listening can give us recommendations. That would be thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373.
And to be fair, I realize there are shows that exist, like, for example, Insecure, which I watched most of the first season of, and it was amazing. And
I've heard
I just
great
fell out of
things
it
about
for
that
whatever
show.
reason.
That's been on my list for a while. I really want to watch that. I love her. I think she's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Awkwafina is Nora from Queens. If I had cable, I would watch that.
That is 100% on my list. If you guys have anything to contribute to this and you have any shows that you want to suggest to us, we would absolutely love to hear your suggestions, like seriously, and watch them. We would really like that. So please let us know, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373. So we are a little bit further in than I thought we were going to be at this point. I had a Reddit thread. You know how I love some ass Reddits. And it is Women of Reddit, what is the creepiest thing a man has said to you in public? And I think I might save this for next week, just simply because we had a really good discussion that ran, that, I don't think that some of this stuff is going to make us talk a lot. So there's where I'm thinking.
Yes, and that sounds like something we're really going to enjoy, and we really shouldn't rush it.
Yes, and we are totally going to enjoy this. So,
yep. Matt, that one's for you.
Yeah. So, anyways, eat a bowl of dicks. Enjoy. Shandy has sent us a bowl of dicks.
Yeah,
I saw. So that was really fun. All right. All right. So we got a whole bunch of feedback this week that I think we need to address, and it's some really good feedback. So let's get to this and stay tuned for next week, unless something really good pops up. Yes, I know, Matt. That's what she said. Unless something really good pops up, though, we will read Women of Reddit, what's the creepiest thing a man has said to you in public. If you're listening right now, you can send us some feedback, because I would also enjoy hearing the creepiest thing that a man has ever said to you in public, because I'm sure there are things. All right. So, we'll start with the facey back. Today, that would be February 18th, as we're recording this, happens to be National Drink Wine Day. Not to be confused with National Wine Day in May. So, cheers. You guys are drinking wine.
Yep, came to the party. Just so happened I had a leftover bottle of rosé in the fridge from a party the other weekend, so I cracked that sucker They're open.
Woo! Well, I
Nice.
have a sparkling seltzer, raspberry rosé, and then the
Counts.
LaCroix that I am now. I'm just mixing. Mandy says, I'm late to listen. There's only one survivor, Zeke. The guy from the Philippines was Zane. Zane's Insta sucks. See for yourself. There's a lot of survivors. There's a lot of survivor for being voted out first. Okay, and Shandy, do you want to share? You want to share? Go ahead. Please share.
That you messaged us and
I messaged you at the middle of the night when I was editing the last show.
Yes, Colleen also came to this realization. Mandy, I never did come to this realization, but you and Colleen both told me, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't think it was Zeke. I think it was Zane. And then, I looked it up.
Z-names, man.
Yeah, that was Z-names.
Maybe there's so few that you just, assume that it's got to be... What are the odds? Two people with a name starting with Z? Come on.
Oh, I know, right? But yeah, I also realized that a little bit too late, though. That was really funny, though. Matt says, happy belated 10th anniversary to Galentine's Day. That would be the 13th, Thursday the 13th of February. Next year we can celebrate Galentine's Day because we'll be released on, I think, Friday the 13th.
Wait, but this is a
leap year.
Leap year.
Oh, you're right. So it will be the Saturday. Well, we'll still celebrate Galentine's Day. We can do it.
Every day is Galentine's Day when I'm with you, girls.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt says, if you're looking for a fun date night movie, Harley Quinn, or whatever they're calling it now, that's true, from Birds of Prey, something, is a ton of fun. It's written, directed, and starring women. And then Kayla responds with, yes, I saw it too and really liked it. Plus the soundtrack is fire emojis. Also, all women. I just wish they had also done it in vinyl. I have to point out, for Sex Education, my very first comment when we were finished watching the first episode of the first season was, oh my God, the music budget for this show must be through the roof.
So expensive.
They
So
have
expensive.
such a great
that just keeps
soundtrack,
going
though.
the entire series. There's so much good stuff about it that you kind of forget how goddamn good the music is.
The music is so good. It's just
So good.
Yeah, I know. I could not believe it. It's kind of like, I was going to say like in Sabrina where it's like an 80s fest, but it's not like that because it's even better. Yeah. Kayla says for merchandise recommendation, I personally am in need of a hot coffee to go tumbler thing, but I also love a cute hat since I wear them every day, and I'll always throw down for wine glasses / mugs even if I don't need them. And then finally, or second to last rather, Greg says, oh yeah, I forgot to respond when it was brought up again, but for me, circle jerks were not a thing with anyone I knew. But you mentioned watching porn with other guys, and that totally opened. That's what she said.
Happened, maybe.
Maybe happened. Okay. Totally opened, though,
Autocorrect.
is a great autocorrect. It is like the autocorrect wanted us to know.
May the Lord open.
May the Lord open! May the porn open. Oh, episode title.
That's a good one.
The first porn I saw was at a friend's house because they had HBO. One friend had a VHS. It was 2001 of a porno, and he hid in his kick drum with a drum set, and we watched it one day. No jerking off to either, though. And then I know, right?
Question.
Yeah.
Porn's on HBO?
I think it used to be.
I think it
was
used to be too.
softcore.
Yeah, I think it used to be too.
Man, I got HBO way too late.
You did.
Might be buried somewhere.
HBO ho? Just kidding.
HBO
Just
ho?
kidding. Bad joke. All right. Ro has... So I've seen this actually. So Ro posted the Never Have I Ever that's been on Twitter all week. And this is the thing. Your score is what you haven't done. So there's 20 things. I'm going to read them all. Let's all take note somehow. Give yourself a point. You haven't done it. So here we go. 1, skip school. 2, broken a bone. 3, fired a gun. 4, done drugs. 5, been in a limo. 6, gotten a tattoo. 7, ridden a horse. 8, sung karaoke. 9, gotten a ticket. 10, been arrested. 11, gone ziplining. 12, been on TV. 13, been on a cruise. 14, gotten a piercing that is spelt wrong. 15,
I before 8 people.
I don't think I even noticed that. Oh yeah, no.
it is totally that's
Even I noticed that.
Okay. 15, smoked. 16, met a celebrity. 17, been. Oh, have I told you, Amanda? You've heard when I met Billy Crudup in the elevator, right?
Maybe.
It's so embarrassing. I don't want to tell if you haven't. I'm not going to.
I don't. You probably have told me, and I've forgotten.
If anybody remembers, I will tell this story at our 4th birthday party or whatever we're up to. It was really embarrassing. So I'm not going to tell it right now. But it's a thing that happened that I'm mortified still to this day. Okay, 17, been skydiving. 18, had a one-night stand. 19, skitty dipped. 20, been drunk. I got 5.
5.
4.
Ooh. All right, now which ones are our things?
Wait, who got 4, Amanda?
I got 4.
Okay, well, I've never fired a gun. I've never
Same.
gotten a tattoo.
Same.
I've never been arrested. I've never gone ziplining, and I have never been skydiving.
I have never fired a gun. I have never gotten a ticket and never been arrested. I've never been on a cruise, and I'm counting Survivor players as being celebrities. So my 5th one is I've never been skydiving.
Yeah, they are celebrities, though.
They're like D-list, but count it.
It counts.
Doesn't matter. It still counts.
I want to know what Amanda's are.
Oh, what are
I do
mine?
too.
I've never fired a gun. I've never gotten a ticket. I've never been arrested. And what was the other one?
Never been drunk.
Oh, skydiving. Skydiving. And I've never been drunk, obviously.
Ours are very similar, except you've been on a cruise.
I have been on a cruise. A work-related cruise with celebrities.
Oh! And maybe you were drunk during one of the...
And I might have been drunk.
I like, how many can you combine here?
Yeah.
Nice. So wait, is this correct that none of us have fired a gun?
Yeah, none of us have fired a gun.
That is
I
None
really
of us
love
have been
that.
ziplining.
I've been ziplining once in the, like, up near Santa Cruz in the Redwoods.
Oh.
Ooh, that's probably very
It's pretty cool. When you guys come, to Monterey, we can put that on our list of
Yeah.
I've never ziplining.
I would
random things to
totally
do if
that.
you guys want to. Never again.
How high up are we? I went ziplining
doable.
in Costa Rica in the cloud forest, and it was so
Not
scary.
that high.
That's
So
right.
scary. I couldn't do it by myself. They actually told me I wasn't allowed, and I had to go on like what they called it, taxi, where like I
Yeah.
had to go with one of the instructors.
Yeah, no.
You gotta do like tandem.
Yeah, that's what my boss did, and she broke her
Because I would,
ankle.
I'd get scared and I'd stop too early, and then I'd be too scared to like turn around. And they fell in. So they'd have to like either go out and get me or like use this big like comical hook to like.
Oh my god.
So I was,
Okay, that's I'm terrified of heights, so I feel like that would be me too. Oh my god. It's terrifying though. Being up high is terrifying. None of us have ever fired a gun, and none of us has ever been arrested.
That's right. Dude, I've never even had a ticket.
By the
follow
way,
rules.
I just
I've
want to
never
point
been
out of everybody who has done this, Gott said that he only has 3.
I know. I'm very curious to know what the 3 are.
I know. I think that he has a piercing and it's in his penis. I think that he's been arrested and it was at a Bernie Sanders rally. And I think that he has Never. Are these the things you haven't done or haven't done?
Haven't.
Oh shit. Okay, so I think that the things he hasn't done, he's never skipped school. I think he's never broken a bone, and I think that he's never ridden a horse. All the other things, totally got his done. I was almost killed by a horse, and I was bitten by a horse. Separate occasions. Things that happened. I've also
dear.
ridden
That's
one,
right.
and I hated it. It was terrifying because of said previous incidents. And that's when I was like, nope, not for me. Randy
Fair.
had 11, so
Randy, let's get living here. Randy,
get
you have
living.
spent how much time at the bottom of the Grand Canyon? You should
Oh my
check
God.
some of these off your list.
yeah. Okay, so Randy, here's the thing. Come to Raleigh, and we will check off Sun Karaoke.
Been drunk.
Been drunk.
We could go skinny dipping if like there was a way.
Yeah, go in my
Not in the
pond.
pond.
There's
Not in the pond. Not in
snakes,
the pond.
but go for
I call
it.
not in the pond.
Yeah, no, there's dead bodies from Dan in there.
Ugh.
You can zip line off my balcony, I guess. I don't know. That'd be really gross. Yeah. All right. I'm very excited about this.
We can get matching tattoos of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah.
You guys can. Oh my God. And I'm sure John will be there and he can help you with that gun thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So you can become a 6, like in like one night.
Depending on what else you do that night, you can become a 5.
All right. So
Sorry. There was a one. Never mind. It was a bad joke. So as soon as you said in one night, I was like, oh, one night stand. There's a one, had one, whatever.
there was, but I wasn't willing to go to. You can also have a one night stand. So I completely looked at that and was like, nope, haven't drank that much.
Not going there.
Still pretty sober. Only slightly buzzed. I've only had half of the can. But I'm working on the other half. All right. All right, so Janice says, listening to the pooping in public segment, and I've been wanting to bring this up for a while. When I started working in my office building, there was one stall that has privacy cover. See the link below to the privacy cover website. It blocks anyone from seeing through the cracks. It is a wonderful idea, and I assume someone from one of the offices on our floor installed it themselves because it is the only one that I have found in the whole building. Okay, so clicking on this, which I have to say, privacy cover while we're looking at this. Oh, that's very fascinating. It's great because we have like 2 bathrooms in my office, and one of them's a poop bathroom, one of them's not. But the problem is, if anybody goes into the poop bathroom, you just automatically assume that they're pooping. Like, even if they're in there for 30 seconds, you're like, oh man, that was a quick shit. Like, it's just really tough. Like,
What distinguishes it as a poop bathroom?
it has the poopery in it.
Oh.
And it's in the back because there's one that's kind of in the middle of the airplane and one that's in the back of the airplane of our office. And the one that's towards the back has the poopery, and we're like, that's the poop bathroom. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm also kind of afraid because I don't know. We have old pipes still, so I'm kind of afraid like I'm going to be the one that clogs the toilet. So I've kind of been like, I've got Starbucks on like, well, I told you I had the one incident where I did poop there, but I didn't know you had to put the poopery in the toilet first. And then I was like, shit. And then I opened like the window, but it was like 30 degrees outside. So I set a timer on my phone and I was like, okay, like set a timer for 20 minutes. Nobody's going to be back in 20 minutes and like hope that the smell clears out and just spray the poopery anyway. So anyway, guys listening, just know if you have to poop and you have to use the poopery, you need to put it first before. Even if it's an accidental shit, if you think you just might shit, like just put it in. Like, because it doesn't count after it's done.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that it doesn't work after the fact. You have
There's
to
no
do it first.
courtesy flushing with the poopery.
Oh, it's
So
confusing.
anyway, It's the only time I've ever pooped at work, which makes me kind of sad because, I was in my old building for like 10 years. So I was very accustomed to pooping in there. And I don't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel like home yet. So it's a house, but it doesn't feel like home yet. So the privacy cover. Check it out, guys, in the show notes. Okay, and now we're going to move on to Matt's What She Said.
All right. Glad to be back. It's been so long.
They're a pain in the butt to clean.
You got to be quiet if you want here.
This is part of Martha. I didn't know. I needed to know.
It hasn't made it out yet.
Everybody goes to the cat house.
The fourth one is kind of long.
It's the repetition that gets me.
No, Amanda, you need to read that with it's a repetition.
It's the repetition that gets me.
Damn.
You get all the good ones.
Hopefully I made it in on time.
That's all he's got.
Woo! Here we go.
I have it up.
I got it up.
Feel free to jump in at any point.
Gaps on each side and a whole lot of room on the top and bottom.
If you want to, you can easily see what's going on.
Don't bareback it.
You can't do that at your desk.
This is going to have to be two.
You come to the table with whatever you've got.
You got all that from my face.
Don't come to me.
We have arrived.
I'll just finish at whatever tomorrow.
I'd gone down to the end.
I'm really sorry everything came out so late.
That's how I start on those weird things, too.
I'm just going to go for it, you guys.
How much has to come off?
It's considerably shorter.
Oh, shit. Is that good?
We finished Sabrina. We finished Sabrina when we were gone.
2 of us have finished Sabrina. 2 of us have finished Sex Education.
She got there, guys.
Just the tip?
Yes! With a little bit of hot mustard sauce, that's how you do it!
That was a deep pull.
You need to take some breaks.
I thought I was picking the short one.
I was going to stop this after 1.
Just reach out and see what's going.
Grab your lube and go to the polls. # homophones. Oh my god. All right. Whew. Moving on to the emails. Our first email is from Amy.
A date story. Amy says, on a cold Sunday morning in January, I went on a first date with a guy I had been talking with on eHarmony. I reached out to him because his profile pic was taken in an obscure spot in Alaska that I had just visited the year earlier. I picked the restaurant because it was known for a great brunch and was central to us both. I arrived 15 minutes early because I'm early for everything. Then our date time arrives and he still isn't there. Great. I then get a text that he is running late. He finally shows up a half an hour late. Says he hit every red light. Okay. Date pass is okay. We have a lot to talk about, plus peach bellinis. Date ends. He walks me to my car. We hug. After all, the dude was half an hour late. But then I'm barely out of the parking lot when I get a text. I just wanted to let you know your driver's side taillight is out. That sealed the deal. Guys, now my husband of 6 years, but he's still late for everything. Moral of the story, always text your date if their taillight is out.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Yeah.
And peach bellinis.
Yeah.
Bellinis.
Oh my God, I love that story. Thank you so much, Amy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so next up, this next voicemail actually references something from the feedback that Gott had said. And he says, I wonder what you all thought about the recent story concerning the lady that reclined on a plane. Regardless of where you stand on reclining, my first thought was this guy would never have been punching the back of the seat if a man had been sitting in front of him. I value your opinion. So
we're going to make you into a feminist yet, Gott.
We are. We're going to make you into a Warren voter yet. Hey, listen, if you're going to vote for Trump in the whatever, just vote for Warren in the primaries. Do it for us as a favor. It's like Maya and Shandy's birthday soon, and like that's a great birthday gift. Like if it doesn't fucking matter, right? Like if it doesn't matter, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I promise you'll feel really good about it.
Yep.
You will feel
it'll be so good for your soul.
Actually, you'll get like some really good karma, probably.
Probably. And it's a woman. That's not Hillary, so it's okay. Okay, anyway, so I had asked Ro to submit her feedback, and here it is.
Hello, Colleen, Amanda, and Shandy. It's Ro from New York. I'm going to give you my opinion on the gentleman on the plane who was berating the woman sitting in front of him for reclining her seat. I feel like it's easier for me to create this voice memo with my opinion rather than type it out. Just know that I'm doing this without any notes, off the cuff. So anyway, I think what the man did was abusive and 1,000% inappropriate. I think he should have been kicked off the plane. I think he should have been almost arrested or at least given a warning. The woman who was on the plane was in a seat that reclined. When a seat reclines, it is meant to be used. And he was in a seat that he paid for and knew what he was getting. If he was so concerned because he's a tall gentleman and knows that his knees can get bumped, then he needs to spend the extra time or the extra money to get a seat that is more conducive to his height and situation. I ride an express bus back and forth to work every day. I'm on the bus for usually almost an hour in the morning and over an hour in the afternoons. I have a bad back, and if I can't recline, my back can get injured and act up sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks. I always recline my seat. I also always sit in the aisle seat because it gives me an opportunity to stretch my legs, which means if there's not a lot of people on the bus, I'm leaving the seat next to me empty. I'm happy to get up if anybody wants to sit in that seat. It's not a ploy on my part. I'm just doing what my body needs. So I have experience with reclining seats, and there are some people who think that I shouldn't be reclining my seat on the bus. But again, the seat reclines, so I choose to use it, and I will absolutely not sit in a seat. If there's a tall person sitting behind that seat, I'll make a different choice because I know I'm going to be reclining. So back to the guy on the plane. The woman was in a seat that reclined. She reclined it. He was totally inappropriately targeting her and wouldn't stop. And it was absolutely wrong. Now, I know some people claim that she shouldn't have been videotaping him. Well, we know that if she wasn't videotaping him, then it would have never come to light. And as David said in his post, which I absolutely agree with, if he was a man, certainly if he was a larger man than the one who was punching the seat, that guy would not have done it. So I just think that it was wrong. I will take that to the bank, and that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, hope you have a great show, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. Bye.
I'm just impressed that was off the cuff. Ro, your ability to speak your thoughts is I mean, forget everything you said was I agree and whatever, and
She's
amazing.
teacher.
But I was just so impressed that you did that without notes.
Hashtag teacher.
Yeah.
Boom. I honestly like kind of until very, very recently when we talked about it on the broadcast, I didn't even realize that there was a debate about whether or not you could recline your seat, because obviously you can. Otherwise,
And
they wouldn't
even recline that
make
far
them
back.
reclinable.
They don't even go that far back, because I actually added this story. So anybody doesn't know, like, there was a lady on a flight. She reclined her seat, and the dude behind her. I think, honestly, like, part of me thinks that it was, just a sexist thing, and part of me thinks the guy had to have been, like, drunk or on drugs, right? Like,
right, because, like, hashtag winning, like, if what you're doing with your life is punching the seat,
right? Like, it's very aggressive.
What is wrong with you?
And I was on 4 planes this weekend, 4 planes, and I had my son, who's 2, who was putting the tray up and down because he's 2 and was figuring out how it worked. And the lady in front of him literally got up and said, "Please stop doing that to him." And he's 2. And I was like, "I'm really sorry. He's just trying to figure it out like this." He wasn't, She was like, "It's okay, sweetie, but I really need him to stop doing that." And I was like, "I'm so sorry." And this was not even before the plane took off. And he was literally because, again, he's 2, so he realized the tray came out and he was switching the thing, and I get it. It was probably annoying to him, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a 6 a.m. flight, so we had boarded at 5:40 or whatever it was, and she got up and she stood up behind him and was like, "I need you to stop." And I said to her, I was like, "I'm so sorry." And I said to Alex, I was like, "Hey, I think please don't do that. Like, it's bothering the lady in front of you." She goes to me, she literally says this to me. She says, "I can talk to him. Thank you very much. You don't have to do that."
Whoa.
And I was like,
I sort
"Bitch,
of do because I'm his parent.
yeah." And I was like, "Bitch, he turned 2 literally 8 days ago. Like, fuck you." I was, and it was 6 a.m. again. Like, it was before 6 a.m. Like, I was at the point where I just looked at her and was like, I get it. It's annoying that he's putting the tray up and down. The plane hasn't taken off yet. Clearly, we're all tired. But, like, when she said, "No, I can tell him, I can address him," or however she put it, I was like, "Oh, fuck you in the face." So, I'm sure she did.
Again, what is wrong with people? How do you look at yourself in the...
He's 2. He just turned 2. He looks like he's 1.
This doesn't make me like, why you being like an asshole doesn't make me want to help you.
Right.
Well, I mean, I was embarrassed enough to tell him to stop. And it's funny because Alex looks so little that when we were checking in at Southwest, she was like, "Oh, you could probably pass him for 23 months and we wouldn't check, right?" And I was like, I know. I was like, I do realize that because he is in the 3rd percentile. So he looks like, he's like 50 percentile for an 18-month-old because he's still an 18-month close. But I was like, "Oh, I know, but you guys would." I was like, I figured if I had done that, I'd be the one person that you check the birth certificate for. So I had to. But yeah, it was really funny. But again, it was just, she just got up and she was somebody's grandma and she just turned around and was like, "Stop it, bitch."
Whoa.
Or maybe she wasn't, because if she was someone's grandma, she'd know you don't talk to a young child like that.
That's very true. She looked like someone's grandma. I'll put it that way. But again, Long Island, so whatever. Anyway, the lady of the seat. My thoughts are, absolutely would not have done it if it was a dude. However, I will not rule out if he was on drugs, he might have done it to anybody. The end.
Yeah. Well, and I will say the article that I read about it said that first he asked her to not recline while the meal was being served, so he could use his tray, and to be fair, they usually announce that.
Yeah.
And I think, and that seems to me like a very rational, sort of normal, understandable rule. And everyone sits up, and she sat up, and then after the meal was finished, she reclined again, and that's when the punching started. And it's first of all, use your fucking words, but B, you're in a plane, that's part of it.
Use your words.
Yeah. That is totally part of it. I don't really understand. And somehow she's the bad person because she videotaped him. Also, I'm like, what are because usually you can take pictures and stuff in the street, like you can videotape anything you want. I don't know if the rules are different if you're like enclosed in an airplane, but like clearly she was in the right to do that because like justified. Otherwise, like we wouldn't be talking about this. But it's just insane.
Well, you know, her seat reclined, so she had the right to do so.
Yeah. You're not. I mean, the thing is, like, I understand the idea of like you're encroaching in somebody else's space, but like at the same time, I don't understand that because like literally everyone encroaches into everyone else's space because that's the design of the plane. And so, what are you supposed to just like? So the person in front of you reclines, and you're not supposed to recline. But also, like, if you want to sleep at all on a plane, like that's the only way you can somewhat get into a slightly more comfortable position.
Again, they don't even recline that much. You recline more in the movie theater than it does on a plane.
Yep. Well, and
Yeah.
I think Ro hit the nail on the head. It's like if you know that you are a taller person, that you need more space, spend the money, set yourself up for success, and get an aisle seat, get one of those like seats that have the extra leg room. Like you can't complain when you chose to put yourself in a position where like you were gonna be faced with that, where like someone was gonna recline their seat on you. Like that's it, some of it is on him.
Right. I will say I think it's bullshit that you have to pay for which seat you get because if you travel with a family, you don't have that choice. People that travel on their own individually have the luxury of choosing if they want the aisle, the middle, or the window, but it's just forcing like people that are in a family, and that fucking sucks. But I do have a really big problem with paying extra for where you.
Right.
But whatever, capitalism, yay, we all rule.
Exactly. That's
The
business of flying. They don't actually have to do anything to make their, the people on the plane feel any better about the situation.
Yeah, because we're gonna fly anyway.
Exactly.
Well, but like speaking of which, like I do not understand the stewardess, the flight attendant who like gave the guy like some free rum.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
No,
And gave the woman a warning that she.
Oh my
like,
god, we didn't even talk about that.
fuel
I
on
would've
the
been
flame and the flame.
mad. Oh my
like,
god,
what is wrong with that person to misread that situation so badly?
patriarchy is the problem.
Yeah, but seriously, like, that's-
it's
No,
I was just gonna rehash something. It's just like if that's gonna be your reaction, and I get it. Like everyone has bad days, and I have bad days, and like sometimes I snap at people, and sometimes I think back on my actions and think like I could have been more chill about that. But if that's your reaction, like you must feel like such a dumbass.
No,
like,
I'm
so-
sorry. You give it to
How do
the
you
lady
feel
that
okay
can't
with
recline-
yourself?
Right, the lady that can't recline her fucking seat anymore to be comfortable. She's the one that deserved the booze. How else is she gonna relax? Give her the free fucking booze.
Even if let's say that it was somehow like wrong to recline your seat, which it's not, but let's say that it was. Even if it was, is the correct response to like physically harm someone?
No, it's never the choice.
It's mind-boggling.
Anyway, that's where we stand, God. Thank you very much for participating. We're going to move.
Brooklyn has been so loud.
That's okay. We got a lot more feedback, but I think
But I
we're gonna
agree
have
with
to save-
everything you guys said. That was very well done. And if there wasn't a cacophony of sirens over here, I would have chimed on in.
You know something? The person that was punching the lady's seat would have been very offended by your cacophony of sounds, okay?
Yeah.
He would have punched.
There's a lot.
He just punched his iPad in the face.
Like how
Well,
do
Well, that
you
sounds
feel
like
about
a him problem. No, he doesn't have an iPad.
You know something?
But, like,
I feel
how
like
do you
if you're
feel good
punching
about
somebody on a plane, it's a you problem.
Right. How does he possibly feel good about that? I understand that there's a seat between like her physical body and his arm, but
It doesn't matter.
but it doesn't matter. Like, so how is that okay to
The
like repeatedly
only thing-
assault?
The only thing I can think of is
face.
the dude was drunk or on drugs and didn't even realize
I don't know,
like
people are
the
freaking
gender of who
rude.
he's punching.
That
Yeah,
actually
I know.
happened to me once. I was on a plane and I reclined my seat, and the person behind me pushed my seat back up.
Ah!
And I was so flabbergasted that like I didn't know what to
Go that
do.
far,
So I was just like, oh, okay. I guess I'm not going to recline my seat.
Okay.
Anyways, thank you, Ro, for your really thoughtful response.
All right, so we have a whole bunch of other feedback, but I think we're running really long right now. So that's what she said. I know. We have some great feedback from Desiree and Joanne, but we are going to save that for next week. We have an email from Faye right now, which is in response to a topic that has been talked about extensively for the last 3 years on our Broad Sisters crossover, and that is circle jerking.
Oh, I thought you were going to say toilets.
Toilets, too. Who wants to read it?
I'll take it.
Amanda.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
Okay. Cookie game reaction. Y'all. I hope I did that right. Sorry, I'm a New Englander. Just listen to the newest episode where you read my feedback that confirms Shandy's claim that teenage boy circle jerks are in fact real.
Yes.
LMAO, too funny. Thank you for sharing on the podcast. After the episode, I watched the cookie game clip Colleen talked about and I am shook. A piece of white bread? Where do these people even come from? My God. Thanks for cracking me up this morning, Faye. Smiley face.
You are so welcome, Faye, and we hope you stick around. Thank you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah. Good times. Shandy, you continue to be possibly vindicated. All right. Our last email of the pod comes from Andy.
All right. So Andy writes in, "Hey Broads, another quiet Valentine's Day has come and gone. It was a pretty typical Friday night for me. Hopefully everyone else had a nice one. I believe it is pronounced kintsugi, hard G. There was also a Death Cab for Cutie album with that name from 2015. Anyway, I've always liked that term because everyone gets a little banged up in life, and we should try to remember that when putting ourselves out there. I know I should heed that and give myself a break. Although, to be honest, these days I'm far from even a mistaken identity dating disaster." One thing I forgot last week was OMG Yes released a second season of videos. Oh, I wonder, that must be why they emailed me. Andy continues, "I signed up for those like I did before, but I haven't had the time to do a deep dive, so to speak. No rush, obviously, but I look forward to learning more. Anyway, that's about it for me. I'm not feeling down about being single right now. I recently watched Marriage Story, and being single doesn't seem so bad now."
Yeah. I'm afraid to watch that movie, to be honest. I feel like that's going to be traumatic.
I wish that there was a different actress in it, but Scarlett Johansson, like after her, like,
I know,
you know.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, what was the deal with Scarlett Johansson?
Just that she defended Woody Allen, and
she's a Woody Allen defender, and she also is really big on cultural appropriation, aka playing an Asian character and letting
true.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
And she only has mild regrets, like a 5 out of 10 apology. Anyway,
sorry. Okay. I'll just start from the beginning of the paragraph.
Okay.
Anyway, that's about it. Anyway, that's about it for me. I'm not feeling down about being single right now. I recently watched Marriage Story, and being single doesn't seem so bad now. But I'm staying hopeful. If Stephen Miller can get married, certainly I could too. Granted,
Andy,
my bride and I won't devour the officiate after the ceremony. But you know what I mean. Hashtag I'm with hers, Andy.
Andy, never sell your soul. That 7 years isn't worth it.
No.
Not to get married to a basic bitch like that. Please don't. Good times. Thank you for your email. Zachary gave me my birthday gift this past when he got home from New York. He bought me a purple pen for my notebook. And honestly, that was so sweet that he was like, what is, because he went through that process. What does mommy love? She loves, notebooks. And what's her favorite color? Purple. And he like literally went out and told Jay, he was like, Daddy. And so Jay told me that the story went like this. They got there and Jay was like dying and they got some, Alex and I went to one airport and we got dropped off at 5:10 a.m. for a 6:10 flight. And then because Southwest is so fucking expensive nowadays, Jay and Zach had to go on to JFK, which was an hour away, for JetBlue. And they got there, they got like Dunkin' Donuts like 15 times each. And then, Jay was dying and Zachary was like, I think we should go shopping. We need to get mommy a birthday present. So, and it was so sweet. And then he was like, Mommy likes notebooks. And he got me a purple pen. He picked it out so I could use it for my notebook. And I was really, really so sweet. And I was really appreciative. And I brought it to work today and I can't wait to start using it. So yay!
Aww.
Nice. Is it purple ink or is it just?
It's purple ink. It's one of those, like gel pens.
Yeah.
Nice.
You could be writing in style.
I'm so excited.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Good job,
Very
Zach.
thoughtful.
I know. He did really good. But anyway, on that note, guys, thank you for listening. I know our episode was probably at this point a little bit longer. Our episode was a little bit longer than usual. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being a patron. If you are a patron, if you'd like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/JayandJack or go to jayandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link at the top right-hand corner of the page. Thank you to the patrons that contribute a certain level, and that be Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Rickner, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, Drake the Destroyer of Time /distributor, and Ed the Creepy Mailman. Thank you guys so much. If you would like to shop through the Amazon affiliates link, we would also really appreciate that. And that is jayandjack.com/Amazon. And it is all lowercase letters. I think we are going to be live for our 169th show because we were live for 69. So why not be live for 169? And by my counting while we were talking, that would be March 17th. So hell yeah. Let's do St. Patrick's Day live show. So mark that on your calendar.
Nice.
Speaking of live shows, we're going to be live for the patrons next week. We were originally going to do it this week, but we know the Ramblecast After Dark did theirs yesterday rather. So we wanted to just, space it out a little bit for everybody. So we'll be live next week, and that is Tuesday the 23rd? I don't know. I don't know math. That's Tuesday the 25th. Oh, that's right. We talked about this already. It's the day after Shandy's birthday. So come with your Sandy tributes for her birthday on Tuesday the 25th. Yes, let's roast Shandy.
I love this idea.
Roast Shandy, but she doesn't like to be roasted, so roast her in the shandiest of ways possible.
You just bake her instead.
Baker. Let's bake Shandy. Oh my God. Hashtag bake Shandy. Let's do that.
It sounded better in my head.
No, bake Shandy is the best. We're going to call it that too. Oh my God. I love this. I love this so much.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Sorry, Shandy.
No. It's quite all right. If I smoked the weed, it would work even better.
I'm writing it down now though. Hashtag bake Shandy. But we're not baked. BAKED. So I just wrote KAB twice. BAKED. Baked Shandy. Oh my God, I just wrote baked candy again. Bake Shandy. Bake Shandy. BAKE Shandy. I know what I mean. I know what I mean. I got there.
That works. It works.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for playing. We hope that you enjoyed our show this week. On that note, my name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy. Sometimes candy.
Sometimes candy.
Hashtag Shandy, sometimes candy. All right, on that note, everybody, peace out.
Bye.